least he got something out of last night from a Mets fan perspective.
All right, so we'll shift to the Mets. So I'm watching this game as well. I was trying to go back and forth on the two of them. And, first with Freddie Peralta. Now, in a lot of ways, he's going
to be gone. He's going to be traded.
No. I know he's going to be gone, but this was, again, another one of the signings that when they got him and everybody was so excited, hey, you got a new ace, Freddie Peralta, you would look at what he's done, and he's got great stuff, and he strikes out a lot of guys, but he gives you 5, maybe 6 innings, and it's a million pitches, and you're watching the game last night, and I know the Jared Young play at first base was part of this, and they finally, I think they did go back and change it to an error, but like he's at 40-something pitches in the second inning, and you're thinking, this is going to be another game where this guy can't get through 6 innings. Hell, I don't think he got through 5 last night. And it's a little disappointing when you watch someone like this, and I agree, he probably will be traded. But that having been said, I give them a lot of credit from this standpoint. You're watching this game, and before you even get to Soto, in the 6th inning, Bichette gets on base with the hit. Lindor drives the ball to left field. Dubon, the left fielder, makes this ridiculous catch. And you're thinking, this team can't catch a break. And then beyond that, you get the hit to the wall. And then Bichette, Al, you always talk about, send the runners. Well, they send Bichette. He gets thrown out, and you're thinking, this just ain't happening.
Well, you're playing the Braves, and they're a good team.
They are, but the Braves also have not played well of late. And so you're thinking this is the right time to get them. And then Alvarez comes through with the hit, and you're like, all right, it's mesmerizing watching them. Then you think the game is over. The relief pitcher, why he's challenging Soto in that spot, I have no idea. They take the lead. Devin Williams can't wait to give up the lead, and yet they still, and Luis Torrens comes through, and Luke, I don't know. This team is puzzling to me watching.
Well, it's not puzzling. Their pitching stinks.
Well, we've been saying that forever.
Yeah, but, and the other thing, too, they finally do have a full lineup with the exception of Luis Robert Jr. and Polanco, who really haven't even been a part of the team, so you don't even think of them as everyday players. But, they have their big 3 in the middle of this lineup right now, and it was a nice moment for Juan Soto and even Keith Hernandez, before Iglesias throws the pitch, he goes, man, they're going to walk him here.
Yeah.
And he grooves a fastball. Like, what?
On 3-1.
I mean, like, that is so Met-esque the other way.
Yeah, I agree.
But, finally, and again, like, his numbers and Juan Soto's numbers they're right where he always is. He's a tremendous baseball player, and I'm not backing off of what I said yesterday in regards to Francisco Lindor, because you don't know what the future is right now, especially for next year, the short-term future. You have no idea what's going to happen next year. And, this may be the year that you may be able to move him. Maybe I don't know. He didn't look unhappy last night, but, they go by game by game by game. And like I said, this was a good moment for Juan last night. So I still think that this team needs a total reset.
100%.
It just doesn't feel right, doesn't look right. It hasn't been right for 3 years now.
Well, they're not whole. And you talk about Soto last night. Soto has been hitting the hell out of the baseball, and yet
it's fine.
They still don't win games. Now, last night they did win the game. They almost lost the game even after Soto has this monster moment. He right now has the look of a player. If you come anywhere near the strike zone, he's going to pound the ball a country mile. That he's so locked in right now, and yet it's still very difficult for this team to win games. The play by Benj in right field, it ultimately doesn't kill them. But my God, we're jumping at a ball we don't have to jump at. I know it's a hard play, but good Lord, that's a good outfielder making a bad play. First base is a hole. You're going to.
Everybody has a moment on this team.
They do
to impact the game negatively, and unfortunately, it's throughout the team. It permeates throughout the team. I would say even Juan Soto's had his adventures in left field at times.
He has, for sure.
But
I don't think Juan Soto's future is going to be in the outfield. I think Juan Soto's future will be as a DH at some point, as he will transition to that, maybe as a part-time DH, part-time outfielder.
I know, but I see him as an athlete. I see how he looks in his uniform. Like, how is that guy not playing baseball all over the field? Like, he's not like Giancarlo Stanton, like where you're afraid to put him out there and he's going to, pull a hamstring or something.
Right.
And I know that Juan Soto's coming off of a calf injury, and they were talking about that last night where he's not stealing bases right now, which is unfortunate. But he
did run, though, on 3-2.
He did. And I just I just wish he would play baseball, but I do think this team needs a reset. I really do.
Well, it's interesting because if they trade Lindor like you think they should, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, you now have, think about the work that this GM and this team is going to have to put for whatever the next season is, whether it's 27, 28, 29, whenever they're playing baseball again. You will not have a first baseman. You will not have a second baseman at that point. You will not have a shortstop.
Yeah, you'll have a shortstop. Bo Bichette will be the shortstop. He's not going anywhere.
I would doubt he would either, except for one thing. Everybody that sits there and says he's not going to opt out because who's going to pay him? If you've paid attention the last 4 or 5 weeks, he is hitting and hitting a
Jerry,
lot.
He's not opting out. He's not going to opt out. He's got 2 years after this year at over $40 million a year.
I'm aware what he's got. What I'm telling you is if he winds up batting .280 and hits 25 home runs and drives
they don't even know if there's baseball next year. So that means next year's contracts are all on hold. And now you're talking about 2 more years down the line if, in fact, there is I don't even know if there's going to be baseball.
I happen to agree with you that he's going to opt in because it's there's too much money at risk not to.
Guaranteed money, yeah.
But if he goes on a tear and his agent tells him, I can get you 6 years and $200 million, which would still be $40 million a year on bad math there. But I'm saying get a longer contract for more guaranteed money. You don't know. All I'm saying is you might have an infield that has 0 positions locked in for the future. 0. And by the way, while he's been okay at third base, he's not a great shortstop. So you would have, if Bichette is your shortstop, then you don't have a third baseman, you don't have a second baseman, you don't have a first baseman.
Steve Cohen basically said, I'm worried about the future of our minor league system, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is, to me, and I said it last week with Gio, I'm going to say it again. I do think that this is Steve Cohen saying, look, we're going to have to get rid of some of these, upper-end major league players. We're going to have to trade them, and we're going to have to try to refortify. This is not a on-the-move rebuild right now to try to make it to the playoffs this year.
So you don't think they can rebuild at the same time? You think it's a complete rebuild then? Which means you're wasting the prime years of Juan Soto.
Yeah, I understand
and that's
that.
The problem.
Or they're going to have to. Yeah, the other thing too is nobody knows what the CBA is going to look like, and whether or not there is going to be. I don't believe there will be, but there could be a salary cap attached to it. Then what do these teams that are spending so much money, what do they end up doing? Are there going to be players that come free because of that? And I personally would want to have my team, especially if it's not a team that's winning right now, I would want to reset my team under the current set of circumstances, not knowing what next year looks like, what the new CBA looks like, what kind of players may be coming free. But I have to get more flexibility with my salary situation. Right now, my salary situation is way out of whack for what the team has given me. So I'm thinking, while I do have some really good young players that I like, I love Juan Soto, want to leave him there. There are things that they need to do. I think that David Stearns needs to do, and this is the opportunity to do it because the team is not playing well. Steve Cohen came out and said he's not going anywhere, and they don't know what the future holds. Could this be one of those 60 games truncated seasons next year?
It's possible, sure.
Or could the season be shut down totally?
100% possible.
And if it's shut down totally, now's the time to start shedding salary and shedding players and shedding future liabilities. That's what I think, and I think that's where the Mets are right now.
I don't, again, in a perfect world, I think you're right, but I'm going to come back to Soto. If that is going to be the plan going forward, what do you tell him who just bought in for the next however many years, 10, 12, 13 years?
But he can make his own decision. He's got an opt-out too. He can make his own decision in a couple of years.
And he
can say, look, the team's not winning. I'm opting out, and I'm going to try to go somewhere else.
So then what was all this for then?
But I doubt he'll do that. I doubt he'll do that just simply because of the amount of money he's guaranteed to make in the CBA. But the other thing, too, is remember, this whole Soto thing, while it should have enhanced the baseball team, made the baseball team better because we should have more moments like we've had last night, it also helped Steve Cohen get the political will around what he's trying to do at Citi Field. And, he's won that battle. So that investment in Juan Soto has essentially worked out for what Steve Cohen was looking to do off the field. On the field,
they're in the toilet.
Yeah, Juan Soto has worked out, though. I mean, he's played well. He's
worked out, but they don't win.
He's still an all-star, but this is why I'm saying you're going to need a reset.
Here's a question for you. Has Mike Trout worked out in L.A.?
No.
And he's a great baseball player. Now, I know he's often injured, but
That's a problem.
Right. And
that's Luis Robert. That's Jorge Polanco. That's Stanton. That has become Judge.
Which is why I come back to wasting these years of his career. I mean, you've essentially had Juan Soto now. You had him last year, and he was slow to get going, and then he turned it on fine. They were what they were. This year has been a colossal disaster by all accounts, and there's really not much to point to aside from his numbers and Bichette now coming on and the fact that you might have found a couple of future outfielders. Wonderful, and you got a couple of nice pitchers.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing, too, is that, especially with Stearns coming through last night, given the dearth of catching in Major League Baseball, which is amazing to me, I mean, they're just. I mean, they may be have the 4th or 5th best catching tandem in the league.
Maybe, but here would be my question going to break. What was the vision then? If we're this close to a possible teardown, which I think you might be very right about,
you want to know what
what was the vision?
The ultimate vision was the real estate.
So
around
it wasn't baseball.
City Field. Well.
That baseball fan doesn't want to hear that.
You could have both. You could have a vision that you're going to add Juan Soto and you're going to become a great team. And you also could have a vision that you can transform the area around Citi Field. And I think you could try to do both. And I think they tried to do that on the baseball diamond, but it didn't work. But the money that they invested in Juan Soto, I think, made everybody excited about the Mets and gave Steve Cohen one of the most important things that he needed. And that was the political will to get done what he needed or what he wanted to get done around Citi Field, which he's done.
Do you think it's a fair question to ask that the next time, or would the next time that the Mets are good, is 2028?
Yeah, it's simply because I don't know what 2027 looks like.
Let's say there's baseball. Let's say they have an agreement. Oof. Do you see a path for this team to be good next year? Because based on what you're talking about and saying, I don't.
It depends on what salaries they can shed, what other players may be coming available. I haven't even looked at the free agent class next year. And we do know one thing, that the owner's willing to spend the money. The question is the guy spending it on the right people? Now, and that's for every Met fan, I think, knows the answer to that. They don't trust what David Stearns has done here over the last 2 years because I always say the proof is in the performance, and the performance speaks for itself.
Yep.